Hey guys, Michael from Copper vs Glass, and in today's video we are checking out the OpenCase. Now I did look at it previously for the iPhone 15 Pro, however this is for the 16 Pro. Now again, the one that I looked at around a year ago was more of a pre-production unit, whereas this is the final retail unit that you guys can get in the link in the description down below. Of course for the iPhone 16 Pro, phone not included. So the OpenCase is available in both black and also the grey colourway that I have here. Now it's available for some of the older iPhones like the 15, 14 and of course the new 16 range, and inside the box all you're going to be getting is of course the case itself. Now the OpenCase is going to be around $55, and you can also get a ton of MagSafe accessories direct from OpenCase, varying in price from around $19 up to about $45 depending on what you're looking for. Now of course that may not seem amazing value considering you don't really get a whole case here, but that's not kind of the whole point, and we'll look into that a little bit more in this video. So you've got some very subtle OpenCase branding just at the top there, your power button, volume button and action buttons all going to be super nice colour matched to the actual case itself here, and then down the bottom you've got the USB-C and speaker side of things, and then you do then have a cutout for the camera control button. So yeah, it's kind of standard when you look at it from that aspect, but then of course we've got this gigantic hole in the back here. But of course that can be filled in with one of the accessories like this back plate here, which of course as you can see does have the MagSafe pass-through to kind of fill it in if you don't want to use any other accessory, you just kind of want to have just more of a basic plain backing to it, then you've got the option to do so. But of course we've got a ton of MagSafe accessories to look at in just a moment. Now the case itself, it does have a nice metal ring around the camera, and I was actually very surprised considering that you do have this gap in the back that it actually feels very secure. Sort of squeezing the case and holding it like this, it does have a pretty good structural rigidity to it. Now yes, the camera control side of things maybe not so much, but then again I think once it's actually on the device you're not really going to have any issues at all. You've also got a super nice microfiber lining just on the back of the side of things here, so again in regards to protecting the back of your device, whether it's the back side or the actual edges, because it does also have a nice soft lining on the inside here, you're going to be pretty protected overall. In fact, let's just take a look at that now. Now obviously I went here for the grey colorway because I think it matches super nicely to the white titanium iPhone that I've got here, but again if black is a little bit more stealthy and more your style, then you've got the option to do so. Now as you can see here, from the front it just looks like a normal case. Even if you look at it a little bit off axis from the side, from kind of dead on from the side, or even from the bottom side of things here as well, it just looks like your standard kind of snap on the back style, leather-ish soft style case, until you turn it over and then you can see here you do have this large section. Now again, I think that the colorway looks pretty nice here, but you can see that you've got a bit of a lip around here as well, and that's just to kind of help out with the accessories once we get onto that side of things. But yeah, using the phone, holding the phone, even with nothing on the back there and kind of having that lip, it still feels really nice, and actually fitting a little bit of that glass come through on the back of the device kind of has a little bit of a different feel to it compared to your standard regular case. And again, if you had a different case or different coloured iPhone, you'd have a nice two-tone design to it. Now taking a quick look around the case here, starting off with the camera ring, and again you've got all the protection here along with a very subtle OpenCase branding just up here as well. It's not any sort of in-your-face branding or anything. So again, because the camera housing on the back side of things here, if you're going to be placing the phone backside down onto a table, then you're going to have no issues at all. Now that also counts for the back of the phone as well, because you are going to have a pretty big exposed glass section here. Again, the lip on this also means that if you are going to be placing it backside down, because of that lip and because of the way that it sort of recesses that in there, you're not really going to have any issues with regards to the back glass cracking, even if you drop the device on the back. Then of course we have all the buttons. So you've got your power button, volume up and down, and also the action button in this super nice color matched anodized finish. Now they feel really good. One thing that I would say though is once I actually got the case out of the box for the very first time, and I have been using it for around 5 days or so, they did seem a little bit stiff with regards to mainly the volume up and down. Action button, that works completely fine, same with the power button, and don't get me wrong, the volume buttons have softened up over time, but maybe something to keep in mind and not really to worry about once you do get it out of the box for the first time. And on the bottom you then got the USB-C and speaker cutouts, and I've used this with multiple different size USB-C cables, no issues at all, they all fit completely fine. And then of course, as with every case of the iPhone 16 Pro lineup, we get to the camera control and what they've done here. So they've basically just gone with a simple cutout. There's no covering, there's no pass-through. It is a little bit recessed in regards to getting into there. Sometimes it's a little bit finicky to get to, however double pressing it to actually open the camera side of things, and then also going between the menus and actually using the camera control, it works completely fine, even if I don't, and I've said this a ton of times, I don't really use the camera control all that much. And then of course we got into the whole reason the case is called what it is, and that is the open section on the back here. Now don't get me wrong, it's not the thickest case in the world, it's actually pretty thin, but you can still feel the lip around the back side of things here, which brings us on to the first MagSafe accessory, and that is the filler plate. Now the guys over at OpenCase, I know they're going to be watching this video, so any feedback that you guys put in the comments or that I mention in this video, hopefully they're going to take it on board. But for me, $19 for the filler plate is a little bit too much. Maybe keep it around that $10 mark if you can do. Now the whole point of it though is to basically cover up the section on the back. You've got a nice section here at the bottom to actually get it out if you need to, but once it's in there, it again just feels like a standard case. Now yes, there is a kind of seam around the edge there, but you don't feel it whatsoever, so it's a really nice way to just have a standard case if that's the look you want to go for. But I think that kind of takes away from the purpose of the case, which is why for me I'd much rather use an actual MagSafe accessory on the back side of things here, much like the Mag wallet from OpenCase. Now this is actually the version 2, the previous version basically didn't have this cutout at the bottom, making it, as you can see, a little bit hard to get cards out. Now that they've got the thumb bit at the bottom here, so you can just push them up super easy, no issues at all. Now this comes in at around $45, and in general it's kind of just a standard MagSafe case, but as you can see, once you actually put it onto the back of the OpenCase, the great thing about it is it fits one perfectly, and also it makes it a lot slimmer than if it was on the back of a case that actually had that section filled in. So the best way to think of it is on a MagSafe accessory like a wallet here, this whole kind of seam or lower section around the backside of the accessory kind of disappears when you put it onto the back of the OpenCase, and that's because that's actually touching the back of the iPhone, and then the case just kind of fills in around it. But overall it feels really nice, and it also has a nice slim feel to it, and because it is going to be recessed actually in that section, this is not going anywhere. If I try and move it, shake it, and kind of push it to the side like you can do with other MagSafe accessories, again, it doesn't move. And that's one of the best parts about the OpenCase, because yes, MagSafe is sometimes good, but then again, sometimes accessories fall off, you take your phone out of your pocket, the wallet might fall off for example. With this case, you don't have to worry about that whatsoever. And I'm pretty sure it was by design, but I have here the official Apple leather wallet, and this again is a perfect fit on the OpenCase. Now yes, it maybe doesn't fit in the gap as perfectly as it can do with the first party wallet from OpenCase, but again, in regards to that slim form factor and actually just kind of slimming down the phone in general really when you're using MagSafe accessories, this does a great job. And again, placing it backside down, you kind of have more so the wallet on the back and maybe the camera housing touch in the desk, as opposed to again with some MagSafe accessories where it sticks out a little bit, you kind of have, you know, a little bit too much weight on the back there. Now in general, I also think that this colorway looks super nice with this bright orange and this nice gray color, but it really does feel nice and it makes it feel super slim in the hand, and that's mainly one of the reasons why sometimes I don't use a MagSafe wallet, just because it adds a little bit of bulk. And then we have a Pokemon card, Arcanine, but what we have here is an Anchor power bank. Now again, these sorts of things are super heavy, and the whole point of it is to use MagSafe to charge your device when you're out and about, and as you can see, it's bigger than the gap that we have here. So initially, if you do place it in there, of course it's going to charge because it's close enough to actually get that charge in there, but as you can also see, it kind of sticks out at the bottom because again, the actual gap on the back isn't big enough to fit the whole power bank. Now I don't have the Pro Max with me, this may be different on the Pro Max because the cutout's going to be bigger, but what it does mean is you don't get that solid MagSafe connection, so yeah, this is just going to fall off pretty much every single time. So if you place it on there and you've maybe just got on a desk for example, no issues at all, but one option that you do have is to use it with the included filler plate, and this is both good and bad. It means that the actual accessory fits on a lot better and you don't really have any issues and there's no sort of misalignment, the magnets are super strong in regards to the accessory being on there, but the plate can sometimes make it kind of come off, which again isn't the best thing. And also if you do shake it a little bit too violently, then yeah, as you can see here, the phone sometimes just kind of has a mind of its own, which isn't great, but it's kind of a solution. And to be honest guys, that's sometimes an issue just in general if you are using the filler plate side of things, because again, the magnets that you've got here aren't necessarily the strongest. So don't get me wrong, an accessory on the filler plate feels great, but then once the filler plate actually goes in, then even something like a wallet for example, you can kind of slide it off to the side and you've got no issues there. But if you are using any sort of power adapter, power bank, or any sort of wireless charger, then yeah, the filler plate doesn't necessarily do an amazing job. Now one thing that I was also then thinking was, okay fine, if we don't have the filler plate on there, how does it work with other MagSafe accessories such as a wireless MagSafe charger, which obviously is a circle that normally fits pretty much just over the Apple logo on the back side of things here. So what I've got here is an Anchor wireless MagSafe charger, and again, link to the description if you guys want to pick it up for yourselves. but it doesn't also find the magnets where it should do. And it's kind of only when I've got this case that I've realized actually just how high up the MagSafe side of things is on the standard 16 Pro. Now, don't get me wrong, on the 16 Pro Max this might be different, but it doesn't actually go high enough to kind of have that solid connection. And this isn't just for this Anker charger, for example, it can also be with my desk charger or my nightstand, for example, where it doesn't have that solid connection, so it's not going to stay on there. Now, it will still charge the device because it is close enough to the rings itself. But one thing that I would say is once I remove the case, as you can see, it snaps into place and it holds it no problem at all. But then also, as you can see when I do put it on there, you can see just how close it gets to the camera housing side of things, so you can't really have that sort of gap there or any sort of misalignment issues like with the case, because again, it doesn't go up all that high because you need to protect the camera at the end of the day with a camera ring. So getting onto my final thoughts of the OpenCase, is basically for those that want to use a MagSafe wallet. That's the best way that you can use this case. It makes it feel slimmer than if you don't have the case on there. Now, yes, you've got the filler plate if you do want to use other accessories, but as we've seen in this video, it maybe doesn't do an amazing job overall. And again, depending on the battery bank or wireless charger that you're using, this may or may not work. However, if you are the kind of person that has been using a, Apple wallet, or even from anyone else, for example, including OpenCase, if you've been using a MagSafe wallet since the iPhone came out with MagSafe, then this actually is the perfect case for you. It's just in some occasions, it's maybe not the best option. But as always, guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of the OpenCase. Is it something that you might pick up for yourself? Is it something that you kind of wanted a long time ago, just in regards to keeping those MagSafe accessories locked down? Or is it maybe a little bit too over-engineered for exactly what it is? Would you rather just have a full coverage case with strong magnets and not worry about the extra thickness from time to time when using some MagSafe accessories? Now again, like I mentioned towards the end of this video, if you are the kind of person that uses a MagSafe wallet pretty much every single day, this is the perfect case for that scenario. Like I say, it keeps it slim, it keeps it secure, the wallet isn't going to be going anywhere at all. And again, when you take into consideration the price side of things, even if you buy the case from OpenCase for an existing wallet that you've got, or you also go ahead and get their MagSafe wallet at the same time, it's a pretty good combination overall. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. And if you're not already subscribed, now's a great time to do so. And of course, once you've hit that subscribe button, don't forget to turn on the notifications so you're notified anytime I post a video here on the channel. I'm Michael from Copper vs Glass. Thanks very much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.